If you have an e-commerce brand but your store has a conversion rate of less than 2%, this video is for you. Because I will share the top 10 optimizations you have to make sure you start converting more visitors into sales. If this is your first time watching me, hi, my name is Nas and I'm an expert in e-commerce, automations and sales. I worked at Amazon for almost 5 years, I've built my own brand, and today I help brands launch and grow faster. But enough about me, let's get into why you're here. Before I get into my top 10 tips, let's quickly get into different tiers. As you can see here, generally, a store that converts less than 1% of its visitors is probably going to be struggling. I would assume that this is a relatively new store with unoptimized pages. If a store converts between 1 and 2%, this is typically an average sort of performance, but it certainly needs a lot of optimization because it's going to be difficult to get to profitability with the conversion rate in those values. A store that converts between 2 and 3.5% is typically a healthy and profitable store. So if your store is falling between these two ranges, that's good. There's still potential for optimization. So in this video, hopefully you will get enough of a good value, but it is a good starting point. And then between 3.5 and 5+%, I mean, you have an excellent store. This is top tier. You are delivering exactly what your customers want, and chances are you are profitable and you are growing. Now, if your store has less than 1.5% of visitor conversion, you probably have one of the following, if not multiple, of these problems. Poor traffic quality. The visitors that you're attracting to your webpage, to your storefront, are not your target audience, and therefore they will not be buying and your conversion rate will be low. High friction on the checkout process. People are getting to your store, but when they get to the end page to buy, they cannot. For some reason, the page is too clunky, doesn't inspire enough trust. They just drop off at that stage. And this happens quite a lot with Wix Commerce and WooCommerce types of websites because they're not as smooth and as clean, as tidy as Shopify or Stripe checkout pages. A third one, a mismatch in product and market fit. You're selling a product that maybe has a certain functionality or a certain value proposition, but it's not quite matching with the market, so that when people come onto your website, they're not quite sure if they want to go ahead, and that can cause friction and a lower conversion rate. And the last thing is weak trust signals. People come onto your page, they never heard of your brand, but they probably saw it on social media. They're not quite sure if you're legit. They don't know if other people have trusted you before. They don't see customer reviews, they don't see testimonials, and they choose to abandon your store. These are some of the main reasons why you can have a low conversion rate. So always make sure to tackle these first. Now let's go into the top 10 things you can do to start optimizing your landing page. The first one, have a very, very clear value proposition. Think about it like this. What would be clearer? To say I sell a face cream, or to say I sell a plant-powered skincare that clears acne naturally without drying your skin? One of them is just a product. The other is a product, is a value proposition, and it's how it sort of delivers. Having a clear one-liner that explains what your product is, who is it for, and what it does can go a mile when it comes to conversion. This helps your customers know right away that yes, this product is for me. Number 2, use very high quality visuals. You are now competing with a lot of other brands worldwide, and people just have good equipment. Having a very, very high definition image and video of your product can make the whole difference. Nobody trusts stores these days that have low definition images and videos and assets in general. So make sure you have product pictures that are high quality, make sure that you have videos of the product being engaged and interacted with, make sure you have lifestyle images as well, and ultimately make sure that your website and your images are optimized for mobile, because over 60% of traffic for e-commerce stores is now on mobile. Number 3, keep your CTA simple and repetitive. People think that repeating it a lot is annoying, but chances are people scroll way too fast, they don't see it, so you want to make sure that your CTA is always there and is always sort of the same. And it should be very crisp and very indicative of what your want is. It should be shop now, it should be add to cart, it should be get yours now. It should never be ambiguous like learn more or discover our brand. I know that a lot of brands want to make sure that they are cool and they are edgy and they are almost like, I don't really care, just learn more about who we are. But that doesn't work. You gotta trigger people to shop. That's why you're the owner of your business. So you gotta trigger them in the right ways. Use the right CTAs, make them clear, make them simple, and repeat them a lot. Tip number 4, focus on benefits, not on features. You want to make sure that when you talk about your product, you want to let your client know what they're gonna get instead of what just the product is made of. So if I tell you this t-shirt is made out of bamboo materials, you're gonna be like, yeah, right, and? But if I tell you that it's bamboo materials that promotes soft and breathable and always cool temperatures in your body, that's a completely different proposition. All of a sudden you think, oh, this might be a great t-shirt for summer. So you want to make sure that you're always communicating your benefits as opposed to just the features, which can be important, but the benefits are much, much more important. And by the way, if you need any help with the copy that you're using or with the way you're structuring your landing page, or if you're having low conversion rates on your website and you want to increase them, make sure to reach out to me via either the comments below or my website, sellingwithnas.com. I'll leave the link in the description and I'm more than happy to jump on a call and see if I can help you. Tip number 5, use social proof. I've already mentioned before in this video that some people drop off web pages because they're not sure if they can trust the brand. But guess what? Your brand is new. Nobody's ever heard from it. So you want to make sure you give your visitors enough for them to be able to convince themselves that your brand is trustworthy, which it should be. So try to add early customer testimonials, their reviews. Can they take pictures with the actual products and say they love it and give those pictures to you so you can add them to your website? Can you incentivize them to create user-generated content in exchange for a future discount or for some sort of perk? Can they give you those 5-star ratings that you really want to add to your website that will in turn convert future customers? These are the kind of things that you need to think of, but always make it super simple for the visitor to make a decision that, yeah, I trust this brand, I'm willing to buy from it. Tip number 6, make it easy for the customer at every step of the navigation process. You want to make sure that you're reducing that friction. You want to make sure that from the main landing page, from your home page, it's 1 click away from the product pages, max 2. You want to make sure that the website is optimized for mobile and it's not breaking because the majority of the traffic is going to be coming from mobile. You want to make sure that the website loads fast. Your store should be loading super fast. And you can use Shopify tools for this. And you can use external tools as well to see how fast different assets are loading within your page. You always want to make sure it's not too heavy, it's not too difficult to go through and to find out what they actually want to find out. People may want to find out more about your brand, but ultimately they're there to either buy or not. And you want to make it so that they buy. So make it as simple to navigate as possible for them to go from point A all the way to the checkout page. Tip number 7, we go back to adding trust signals. Now, this case, I'm not talking about customer reviews anymore. I'm talking about different assurances you can give to the customer. Can you give them free shipping? Can you have a good and comprehensive return policy that doesn't require the customer to spend any more money to return the product to you? Can you add any press logos? I don't know. Have you been featured on Vogue, on Forbes, on anything? Even if it was paid, can you add any of those logos? And on the checkout page, can you add the Visa, the MasterCard, the Amex logos? That typically helps quite a lot in making sure that people trust that checkout page and add their card details and go ahead and purchase a product. But trust signals in general is highly, highly important because as I mentioned before, nobody's ever heard about your brand. You want to make sure that people trust it enough to go ahead and buy. Tip number 8, highlight scarcity and incentivize urgency. This is more of a psychological trick. It is proven that people are more likely to convert into customers if they know there's some level of limited units or a discount that's going to run out. And you make it super easy for people to buy on the spot. If they leave your store, there is no guarantee whatsoever that they will come back to make the purchase later, even if they tell themselves they will. So try sentences like, only 6 units left in stock, or the sale ends tonight, or even things like over 2,000 units sold this month, make sure to grab yours. Okay, this is a bit of a far-fetched one, but the previous 2 are very, very good and typically tend to help. Even if it only helps you convert 1 extra person in the next batch of 10, that's still 10% extra. So it's worth taking the risk. And just one thing, make this urgency real. Don't fake it. People are really, really smart with it. If you put a timeline at the top of your page saying the sale ends at midnight and then they come back tomorrow and they see the sale ends at midnight again, you're in big trouble because chances are they will not be trusting you and they will not be converting. Tip number 9, test iterate, and use data for it. The process of having an optimized landing page really lies on the ability to analyze the data from your customers and make iterations over time. It's never going to be perfect, but there's several tools that you can look into, like Hotjar, like PostHog, and even Google Analytics and Shopify Analytics, where you can see which buttons people are clicking in. You can even see recordings of how your visitors are interacting with your page. And if you are able to identify the points at which they're dropping off more frequently, or the points which lead to the highest amount of conversion, you either cut what doesn't work or double down on what works. And this is a process that's always kind of there. You should do reviews every 2 weeks, max every month, and see how you can optimize your store. And if you need help with implementing the right mechanisms so that you're able to do this, do let me know. Just reach out here on my website and I'm more than happy to help. And then tip number 10, create unique landing pages for different purposes. So if you're running paid ads, for example, I would recommend you to create different landing pages which are used only for those ads. And you can test different things and different messages and different colors on different ads and see what sticks best to the customer. This will give you amazing data when it comes to actually finding the loop that really works to convert new customers. And big brands do this. Smaller, newer brands don't tend to do this. But once you get to that point of 0 to 1 and you want to go from 1 to 10, this is a really good technique to identify what's going to unlock your next stage of growth. So as my final note, I always advise you to make sure that you use data as a source of truth. Don't just ignore it. Look at what your customers are liking, look at what they're not liking, and iterate. Go based on that data, try to make it better. And when in doubt, always default to action. Leaving the store stagnant, stale, is never going to help you increase your visitor conversion ratio. So always default to action. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe to the channel because I'm going to have a lot more content coming about e-commerce in general. So yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.